I would love to know your advice on size of book. So if you, let's say you lost your position right now and you wanted to start your own firm and you're only going to buy insurance agencies, you're going to go out and buy independent agencies. You're starting smaller, so smaller capital. You're probably looking at smaller agencies, but you know that the growth strategy would be to acquire and stack them, right? How would you go about that?
I think the most important thing is to be valuation disciplined while also having like a baseline level of quality. So what do I mean by that? If you're kind of literally bootstrapping, because even that, like that kind of merger strategy is a bootstrap strategy. You know, it's like, how do I buy something and then buy something bigger? And it's a great strategy for folks who are listening and want to do something entrepreneurial. Stay where multiples are low. And that means smaller companies. That means small books of business. Do the hard work of integrating a handful of small books of businesses as opposed to buying one that is 2 million by 5 that are 400,000, so to speak. The one qualifier to that, though, really low valuations sometimes are value traps because you're buying something that's toxic or broken or even worse, like fraudulent. You know? So you do have to have some baseline level of quality, but I wouldn't ask yourself at that scale to be like, oh, what's the absolute best line of business I could be in? I would ask yourself, what is the absolute best line of business I could be in relative to the valuation? Because you can always bootstrap your way up into the thing that is the best line of business ultimately. Like valuation matters a lot, especially if you're going to do something small and nimble at the low end of the market.
Yeah. I always think the best strategy would be to start. I see so many, it seems like there are so many people ready to retire with these older books that haven't grown them forever, but they're established books, like, you know, and they're small. I just think it would be such a good strategy just to buy like absolutely no outbound. Just all you're doing is acquiring, stack them, and then going to a certain level and then selling that as a
So I think the older folks who don't want to retire is a great strategy because it's good for everybody. Like we're investing in a third party administrator right now that's doing that, and it winds up being great for the sellers. Where the sellers don't want to invest in technology and they see this wave coming. They don't have a succession plan. There's never anybody who kind of grew into the business they could hand it off to, family or otherwise. But $2 million is $2 million. So if they get a chance to exit at $2 million and go retire, like they'll take it. And the multiple on that $2 million might not be as much as it would be if they were, 20 million of scale. So that works in and out of brokerage. It's a great strategy in general. I think the key thing that I'd add to what you just said, though, if you agglomerate these businesses, you have to have growth. And so if whether you grow them yourself or otherwise, if you bought a business that was small and then you grew it, that'd be a super valuable asset. If you bought a business and it was stagnant, you're creating a house of cards. The number one thing I would say about these kind of consolidation strategies is that if you ever lose organic growth, you're cooked. But if you're growing organically and you're aggregating, sky's the limit.
So you have to buy well-functioning units that are already plug-and-play growth.
But again, enterprising young fellas who buy something can grow the thing faster than the past person did when they've been just kind of phoning it in for 5 or 10 years. And the other thing too is you'd ask yourself, okay, well, was that person who's leaving, was it just relationship driven and that's why they were so successful? And at the low end of the market, it's very common to have like an earnout requirement or other performance covenants that require them to leave the business in good hands, so that for them to get the full proceeds 2 years later, the people who used to be their relationship now believe you just as much as them. So